Right, let's go through the track list from this week's Ratty tribute set, 1992 to 93, all vinyl set. For those of you that know, and for those of you that don't know, there are 5 DJs that have influenced me more than any others over the course of the last 30 years. LSD, Slipmat, Randall, Ratty. And Ratty is probably, out of all of them, is probably the most influential. I can nowhere near scratch anywhere near as good as him, but I love the way that he kind of chopped up beats, picked tunes that worked well together, and just went from one to the other, and just kind of made a completely new sound. I'm obsessed with mixing. It's why I don't let tunes play as much as I should do. And it's why I'm getting in the mix quick, because I just love doing it. I love creating something new. But I've also got to give a massive shout and a massive respect to Ratty. He called me the next day and we had a great chat, and it was super humbling to hear from him after doing a tribute for him. And yeah, big up yourself, Ratty, legend. Every time. So what do we start off with? We started off with Naz, aka Naz Started Again EP. I think this was the cold chilling version on side 1. Absolute crack of a tune, but an absolute pig to mix. So yeah, great tune to start with, basically. Critical Rhythm Records. This was their first release. Jay Higgs, Jay Emery and Ian Clifton, Sell Out and New Sound Boy. Both of these are absolute belters. They really are. Sell Out was kind of played less, really. But if you've got this and you've forgotten about that as the other side, go and check it out. But New Sound Boy. I should say that most of these tunes from 92 were from his Red October swing set in October, funny enough, back in 92. I've got it up on my Mixcloud in my kind of cunning playlist. Do check it out. It is quite possibly, hands down, the best mix of 92 I've ever heard. Street Violence. I think I did know who did this, but I've totally forgotten. So there you go. That was a great tune. Really good fun to mix. Interesting story. On the tape that came out from Red October from Ratty, it was a green tape. And obviously, it was known as the Green Tape. It had no writing on anything. Ratty and on the other side for half an hour, there was a DJ called DJ Rob E, R-O-B-E. I've never heard any other mixes from this guy. Never seen anything about him online. But that 30-minute mix was absolutely on point. Like, that green tape was absolutely banging. So when I sold my Fiesta and it was in the tape pack, it's still in the cassette deck, I was pretty gutted, if I'm honest. Then I played Edge Compounded, of course, you know, still an absolute mental classic after all these years. Big up Mr. Gordon. And then we go into the first of many, many basement records. Rush Till Dawn presents Hedgehog Affair Part 3. I was always quite confused with this, because some of them were Hedgehog Affair Part 3 presents Rush Till Dawn. They're all a bit you know what? It didn't really matter. A good tune's and a good tune. I think that was the good thing there. Just Don't Stand There, or Don't Just Stand There. An absolute massive, massive tune. Bad Influence, which was Pascal, Jack Horner. Shout out to Jack Horner, because I actually met him for the first time at LSD's 60th a couple of weeks back. Champion lad. I've known Pascal for years. Absolute top guy. Really, really on it, and a super talented guy. Sudden Impact. Such a great, great tune. Tic Tac Toe. This is Simon Radcliffe, which, if you do not know, went on to start Basement Jaxx. So how crazy is that, right? Basement Jaxx started off making banging hardcore back in the day. Don't know why it's in a Back to Basics label, but there you go. So this is Ephemeral. So this was actually the Mickey Finn remix. Additional production by Fabian Grooverider. Don't actually know what extent they were involved in that. Would love to know. Then Mr. Neil Tricks become a very, very close friend of mine over the last 5 or 6 years. FBD project, and this was the first release, and it was called FBD. And I actually called Neil up about this a couple of weeks ago, because if you can see, that is crossed out, because I think I had blasted on that side or FBD, or so it was wrong anyway. So I called him and played them, and he's like, yeah, do you know what, it was initially called FBD, but because the vocal sample said let's do it, they ended up changing the name to Let's Do It in the end. Oh, let me tell you, DJ Mayhem, absolute legends. This one was, what did I play? I think it was Stormtrooper. I always think of Madcap when I play this because he played it at Riverdance and absolutely tore the place upside down with it, especially with his crazy DJ scratching skills. Then more Mayhem into Damage, so Mayhem into Mayhem, double Mayhem. Again, another, just such a joy to mix these tunes, right? Really great intros on them. This was Devious D and JJ, I think. Yeah, this is Awesome Records. I think I must have got the Y label somehow, I don't know. Drive You Crazy. Oh my God, I just realised I played the wrong version. I should have played Time of Your Lives. Or did I? It was Drive You Crazy. Going mad. There you go. So that again, you know, was the early days of Awesome Records, which of course was Slipmatt's label. So mad props to DVSD, out to JJ, out to Mr. Slipmatt. Foul Play. So this is where it all, well, it wasn't their, I don't know if it was their first release. I think it might have been their second. I think this is their label Oblivion. Foul Play Volume 2. Dubbing You, actually, I didn't play this, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone else playing it, but check it out. It's very different to what anyone else was making in that era, and it still sounds very different right now. Dubbing You, it is like a very dub influence, kind of hardcore-y, proto-jungle, but this was all about survival. Wicked skippy breaks on that, love mixing that one in, just goes on forever. Reinforced, Nasty As I Want to Be, Doc Scott, absolute Don, and still smashing it today. I played Mayday, Mayday, or was it Let's Go? God, I should do these sooner, really. Memory's terrible. Chaotic Chemistry, which is also known as AKA Two Bad Mouse, out to Sean, out to Cy. Big up yourself, chaps. This was Drum Trip 2. God, you know what? Take a breath. It's like I've had 2 glasses of wine, that's it. I can't get it all out. Hippodromes, this is Fantasy in Gemini. God, my mate Roy loved Fantasy in Gemini, and he bought all of the records before any of us could get our hands on them. And as you may or may not remember or recall, if one of us lot back in the day bought a record, it means the other one wasn't allowed to buy it. He was all over this. Kicked off with Everybody's Under the Influence, which is again such a great tune to mix, but this one was all about Hippodrome and remix, again featured on the Red October. Dominate, this one, Jumping and Pumping, artist is called Flag, track's called Dominate. Again, never heard anyone else play this. They probably did. I don't claim to know, have played every single set that was played in 92, but this Ratty set from Red October was the only one that I know, and he just did absolute wonders with it. Back to more Basement Records. Ratty was a big supporter of Basement back in the day, and of course Formation as well. Wax Doctor, New Direction, huge tune, this one. And then, of course, into Formation, RIP Tango. So I ended up playing Factor 5 because it's a massive tune. Then I played, I played Factor 5. Then I played New Direction. Then I flipped it over and played Can't Stop the Rush on there. Just such a massive EP, that one. This one, Double Vision, which was Dom and, oh my God, Dom and Tango, that's right. Double Vision, got to release. This is one of those tunes that for me has just got everything in it. It's got proper raw, nasty bass lines, massive uplifting piano, proper raw breaks, got to release, got it all. I'd actually forgot, I've actually got this record, CBiz Krause's Rewind. I've got the 93 version. You can't quite see it, but there's actually a hole, like you can actually, that actually comes apart. And when I was playing it, I was like, oh, that's got a bit of a nasty click. But yeah, I realised that actually I'm going to put that to one side because I need to replace that. Can't be dealing with that. Original Bad Boy EP, D-Force. You know, this was again early days of kind of sort of early-ish days of slamming vinyl. This was more towards kind of the end of like 92 and their second release. Ratty played Rough, and looking at all the research that I did and all the sets, like Rough was definitely a big tune in his sets as well as many others. But you could pick any 3 tracks. Literally, it's one of those tracks where you just close your eyes, put the record on, and just pick whatever you want. The Pulse, DJ SS. I love this because SS, you know, it's got the artwork on the back, and look at that. Do you remember that? It was the classic, having DJ SS in the back of his head. And this was his nephew, I think, if it was right. If it's right. And his nephew, yeah, Simeon, on there. So bless, that was super cute. Big up Leroy, Formation Crew, and the Pulse was a big tune. And then, of course, this is when we came into the kind of slightly more darker side stuff. Now, someone put in the comments, and they said Ratty was one of the first DJs that I heard playing darkside. And I thought, that's interesting. I kind of think that as well, and I kind of spent a bit of time on that, and I was like, yes, you know, other DJs were kind of playing sort of slightly proto kind of early jungle, and there was obviously some hardcore stuff that was dipping into that kind of dark side. But from my memory as well, which, you know, as we've already established, isn't anything to be trusted, Ratty was one of those DJs that was consistent with it, because it was almost like, you know, towards the end of 92, certainly October, Ratty was all out hardcore business towards the end of 92, and then it was almost, you know, within a week where he was playing loads more of this dark side stuff. I've said this before and I'll say it again, me and my mates didn't really know what was going on at this time, so we just called it Haunted Hardcore. But massive release, and well worth a play. Tango and Ratty, out to Tango. Now, dope, this one, love this one. This one was the Easy B and T-Bag's revisited mix of When I Was Young. Just super powerful, like hardcore dark side kind of business. Cloud9, Volume 3, Mr. Logic. Now, I'll be honest, I don't even remember this tune, and it was only when I was at Calling the Hardcore last year and Ratty was playing, and I did say to Sam, try Unity. I said, whatever you do, mate, do not put me on at the same time as Ratty. There is no way on this planet that I'm missing Ratty. And bless you, Sam, you came up with the goods. This track, Mr. Logic, it's quite a simple tune. It's got some raw beats, raw bass line, and it's the bass line that does it. When Ratty played it, I was standing there with Madcap, and the whole place just erupted just when the bass line came in, nothing more. And I went to El and I said, dude, what the hell is this tune? He goes, straight away, without missing a beat, he went, Cloud9, Mr. Logic. And I bought it the next day, 60 sheets. Vibes, Music So Wonderful. Just a reminder, this Music So Wonderful, the compilation of Vibes and Wish Doctor tracks, is out now on Music Mondays, and that is tons and tons of tracks of the massive tunes from 93 and 94 that those guys smacked out. There's a couple of collabs with Dougal and a couple of Vibes tracks on his own, but there's a ton of Wish Doctor and Vibe stuff. Always does the business, that one. Delving back into the dark side a bit, Essence of Aura and Distortions cut. Now, this one was always, if you look, you know, its track was called the same as the artist name, and then it was just Essence of Aura remix. So I guess, you know, when I was ever spoke to any of these artists back in the day, like, you know, we didn't really care about naming stuff. We just wanted to get stuff out there, and respect for that. Big dark tune. Now this one, Windmill, was Divine Inspiration, was the Sonar's Ghost remix. Again, like Ratty used to cane this back in the day. I'm pretty sure this didn't actually officially come out until about, well, a few years ago, because I remember going to see Pulse at one of the record fairs, and I saw that, and I didn't really remember the name of the track, and he's like, do you want it? Because I bought a couple of bits. He goes, do you want this? I went, oh, I don't know, I haven't heard it. He goes, you don't know what this tune is? I was like, no. He goes, just take it, you won't be disappointed. And he weren't wrong. Big up Pulse. Anthill Mob, Black Russian remix. I mean, literally, there's nothing more to say about that. perfect darkside business. And this one is quite a similar vibe to it. I think in my hazy days, I kind of got these two tunes actually mixed up. They're very different, but they're on that kind of same kind of vibe. Agent Orange, Getting Rough of the Chaos mix, absolutely sublime darkside natty hardcore business. Andy C, Bass Logic EP. This one is actually a repress, but this was the third release from Ram Records. Something New Part 2. It's absolutely caned to death by Ratty back in the day, and I'm pretty sure there's some sets where he also played Part 1 as well. Big up Andy on that one. Further Intrigue, again, this is more Tango and Fallout, 93 for this kind of style of kind of darkside business. Like, Tango just ruled it, absolutely ruled it. Then Origin Unknown, The Touch, which is obviously the flip side to Valley of the Shadows, but was a bit more hardcore, whereas Valley of the Shadows obviously was a little bit more jungle. Ratty just came out, such a joy to mix that one as well. I only got this one recently. I can't remember how or where, but I did. So it was Tales from the Dark Side, and I actually played the Mickey Finn and Baby Kane remix. Big up, chaps. Smashing remix. Now, Essence of War again, Can I Dream? I remember this track. The first time I heard it was on a fantasy tape from Reincarnation. And just proper darkside business. Love it, love it, love it. This one was Disturbance, the Tango remix. Again, just one of those tunes that's got it all. It's simple, but absolutely devastating at the same time. Moving Shadow business. And I didn't actually play Champion Sounds, although, Ratty did play this a lot. I kind of ran out of time. I teased it at the end, but also it's one of those tunes that ends up taking the YouTube video down. It's a bit sad really, but there you go. So that was it. Big up for listening, big up for me rambling on with all these wonderful records that Ratty championed throughout 92 and 93. And once again, big up Ratty, absolute Don.